Men that are bosses want a woman that's submissive and gonna follow their program. There can't be two bosses.
If you as a man need a woman as your partner who is submissive and just goes along with whatever you say, you're not an alpha. You're not a high value man. You're an insecure little fucking bitch who has convinced himself that you're an alpha male. You're a beta's view of an alpha male.
Talking to other people, being attractive, or even women put their looks forward.
Okay, first of all, maybe for some women, but again, this doesn't speak for all women. And it's almost a vicious cycle because it's like you have a really shallow view of women. And so the type of women you attract are shallow women. And then those shallow women further your view that women are shallow. And it's a vicious cycle. You're a shallow piece of shit, so you attract other shallow pieces of shit. This isn't speaking for all women. The fact that these are the only types of women you've engaged with is arguably a fat L for you. Fresh and fit. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I apologize because I'm about to expose you to this horrific content. Fitting for Halloween, it's time to get spooky. Now, Fresh and Fit is a podcast ran by two dudes. I guess one guy is named Fresh and the other is named Fit, and they talk about men's issues. They are more or less the king of the red pill right now, going along on YouTube. Just hundreds of thousands of views, very popular. And before we even jump into this, I want to talk a little bit about why I believe they're so popular. And it's because, and this is something the red pill community does quite often, which is they will take legitimate and real issues that men have. Because men have unique challenges, especially nowadays. There are more and more men that are single or living alone or even still living at their parents' house. And men are not getting as far as they used to, at least not as soon as they used to. There are problems that men are experiencing right now that are unique to men. And Fresh and Fit and the other red pill types will talk about these problems, but then the solutions they offer are just atrocious. They will give a big spiel about how men have it this way, or it's really hard for guys here, but then all of a sudden, it usually boils down to women bad. Now, I could be wrong, because we haven't actually gone through a bunch of the content yet, but generally speaking, from my previous experience with red pill talking points, it's almost always like men have this hard, men are tough with this, struggling for men, women bad. We have several different videos, short little clips here that we are going to go over today by Fresh and Fit. And I think the first one we'll start with is the truth about the war on masculinity.
Tristan, why does mainstream society work so hard to shame guys for doing what they want to do, their natural instinct? We don't shame women for being hypergamous and picking the best guys. Why?
You know what? I think it's...
So even at the beginning here, this clip, we have a presupposition that's completely unfounded. Why is society so set on shaming guys for doing what they want? What are you talking about? Men can do what they want. Usually it's you people that are shaming women for doing what they want if what they want to do is pursue a career. So already I'm confused, but okay.
It's just destroying the masculinity of men, and I don't want to make this podcast too political. But destroying the masculinity of men is very important if you want to have a society where you can easily control everybody. I think it's the reason why a certain brother of mine was deleted.
So getting rid of masculinity is easy for controlling society. Right off the bat, he is implying that something or someone or some entity or cabal is working together to get rid of masculinity so they can control the masses. Masculinity in and of itself is a social construct. We as a society have determined what behavior we are going to consider masculine and what we aren't. Masculinity changing is not the result of some evil cabal or some woke elites or whatever trying to erode the masculinity. That's not how this works. So who is doing this and who's benefiting and who's trying to take over society by getting rid of the big masculine guys?
Why a certain brother of mine was deleted everywhere on social media because he tries to tell young men to live in a way that's very true to male nature and very masculine, but also.
So he's obviously talking about Andrew Tate. This guy sounds kind of like Andrew Tate. It's kind of creepy. But no, Andrew Tate wasn't deleted because he said just be true to yourself, guys. You know, My Little Pony, Care Bears, it's all love and hugs over here. No, it was because, like what you said, he told them to live by their masculine nature, which included talking about how women are property.
Isn't necessarily what the people in charge of the world want. They want malleable slaves paying their taxes.
People in charge of the world. This is what I'm talking about, by the way, where there are so many little signals to the JQ. Sometimes they just go right past you. You don't even notice it, but like the people in charge of the world. What does that mean? Who is in charge of the world? What? Is there like a global president? Do we get to vote? What? He's signaling to the JQ. Even if he's not intentionally doing so, neo-Nazis can watch this and say, yeah, the people in charge of the world. Who are those people? Jews. That's what they would say. Some will say they're wealthy, they're the elites. But I don't understand who is in charge of the world and how getting rid of masculinity is somehow going to make it easier for them to take control.
Taxes, stuck in a sexist marriage with a wife who they can't divorce because they'll lose their house, with kids who don't respect them, and if they leave their wife, they have no access to their children. The laws are very skewed in a way to keep men slaving away and working and paying their taxes to provide for women who don't care about them, because that's the most beneficial way to run an economy.
Why are you just assuming that the woman doesn't care about him? What? Again, so much of this red pill commentary sounds like it's just coming from guys who had a really bad breakup in high school and they're just still not over it.
They don't want guys out here, making money through programs like Hustlers University.
Wasn't Hustlers University legitimately exposed as being nothing more than a pyramid scheme? The evil people in control of the world think that ripping people off with pyramid schemes is bad. Dun, dun, dun.
Incomes, not driving the steam engines, digging the coal, but living good lives and hanging around with a bunch of beautiful girls. They don't want that because it's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily good for their agenda. I believe it's good for society as a whole. Because I believe.
So we have the people that rule the world, and now they all have one cohesive agenda. I'm not saying this is the JQ. I'm just saying it could be.
Women are happier. I believe men are happier. I believe that men can have a better selection of women, and they could find the high value ones if they meet enough and date enough. I believe that women now have access to obviously the most high value men, and they're much happier. Did you see a single frown at my table last night? Did you see a single scowl? No, everyone had a big smile painted on their face. So everyone within this lifestyle is very happy. And to convince people that it's somehow bad is just a way of creating more slaves for the Matrix. That's it. Because they don't want people being happy. They don't want
there's no commentary that I can add here, okay? This guy thought he was taking the red pill, but he was actually just taking a bunch of Percocet. Because this guy's not making any fucking sense. They want us all enslaved in the Matrix. Dude, life isn't a movie, okay? I know you saw The Matrix once when you were really little, maybe going through your first high school breakup that you're still mad about. And it resonated with me, bruh, because it was so deep, bruh. No, we don't live in the Matrix, and nobody's trying to get us to be slaves of the Matrix, okay? I don't even know what that means, honestly. Just laugh.
Living lives are truly fulfilling. Because then who's going to flip the burgers? Who's going to mine the coal?
It's bad for the economy. Guys like us are bad for the economy. Yeah.
Wait, what? I don't understand. What do you mean who's going to flip the coal and do all this shit, or flip the burgers or whatever? Don't you say that men are lame if they're not providers, but then you're shitting on men for working, or you're shitting on society for demanding that people work? I don't understand. So it's masculine and red-pilled to be the provider, but if you're being the provider via flipping burgers, then not good? So we've heard like nothing of substance. It's a 5-minute clip. We're nearly 4 minutes in, and we've heard nothing of substance.
But yeah, so like literally, that's a song that a rapper made that lyric up because that's a cool, kind of impressive kind of image. And I was just like, oh, by the way, this is happening at the table. Like, also, this is also happening right here, right now. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I want to make this very clear too, because if you guys,
okay, I'm done with this video. Wow, I thought that there was going to be like an explanation as to the war on masculinity. I guess, you know what? Maybe are these guys the war on masculinity? It's like, don't be like these guys if you want to be a real baller, man, okay? All right, well, let's move on to the next one. Brainwashed bimbo thinks biology is a lie.
I'll tell y'all this, ladies. I know women like to say that men and women are equal and everything else like that. But I mean, let's be honest here. You're not looking for a guy your height. You're not looking for a guy that makes as much money as you. You're not looking for a guy as strong as you. You're not looking for a guy that have as much confidence as you. You want a man.
So instantly we have the dumb fuck straw man. You say that men and women are equal, but you want a guy who's taller than you. Do you think when people say that men and women are equal, they mean like there is literally no difference between the biological makeup of a female and a male? Do you think that's what they're saying, honestly? No, they're saying that women are equal to men in the sense that they are both autonomous human beings with a capacity to think and process decisions, and they have sentience and the ability to navigate their own life, and the law should recognize them as equal people. That's what that's saying. Obviously, there are differences between males and females. Dipshit. No fucking shit. But that's not the argument. The argument is simply that men and women should be treated equally within the legal system and within society.
And who's better than you in everything. So quite frankly, you're not looking for an equal, you're looking for a superior. Men and women are not the same whatsoever. We're very different. And since we're different, we can never be equal. So I think this is a lie that feminism...
Oh my God. Because we're different, we can never be equal. Yep, you know what? It's true, guys. Unless everybody is like a carbon copy, then they cannot be equal. You realize the danger of this logic, homeboy? You realize that I could say, well, you know, white and black people are different. White people are white and black people are black. Because we are different, we can never be equal. Sorry, MLK. Racial equality debunked. Like, really? Does he realize how fucking shallow this quote-unquote logic is? It could just apply to virtually anything. You know, no human is the same. Every human is different from the other human. Well, everybody's different. How can we all be equal? You can recognize human beings as a category and treat them equally within the law and general society. It's not that hard, buddy.
Tells women that we are equal. The reality is we
are equal because we people anyway. Like that.
I mean, from a humanity standpoint,
the fact that you got a dick and I got a like what pussy, whatever. Like it ain't like so.
On
what?
a human level, we are
so
equal.
What?
Yeah.
Like how?
Here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like how does that make you different? Like,
it makes us extremely different.
How?
The fact that I have a penis and you have a vagina. That's for one. That makes us very different because we view the world differently. We have different biological urges. We have different biological strategies. Mm-hmm. And if anything, our biological strategies compete with one another. They're adversarial. So, because like men want to have sex with as many girls as possible, women want to have sex with the best guy possible. We're very different.
This isn't actually necessarily true. There are plenty of men who are more than content having sex with one partner who they are married to. In order to buy into this red pill crap, you need to have an incredibly low opinion of women and men to begin with. You know, men, they literally think with their penis, bro. Like, you're doing the fucking stereotype. The men just think about one thing. That's you guys. That's you right now.
Different. Why are you shaking your head? Do you want to run around and have sex with a bunch of dudes?
Who said that?
Do you?
That's literally what I just stated. Do you want to have sex with a bunch of dudes?
Nobody. Okay, but okay.
Please answer the question, yes or no. Do you want to have sex with a bunch of dudes?
If I feel like it, maybe. I don't feel like it. No,
listen, no, right?
Like
you want to find the best guy and settle down eventually and have a family, right?
Maybe, yeah.
At some point.
At some point.
You want to have sex with one guy and have kids with him?
At some point.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. A man, though, wants to have sex with as many women as possible. So we're very different. That's what I mean.
This isn't even true.
She doesn't understand what I'm saying.
Why is he just assuming this? He's just assuming it. Okay, yeah. Who needs a brain when you have a dick, I guess? Okay.
No, I do understand what you're saying, but how does that make you like...
That makes us not equal.
That makes us not equal.
All right.
I think we're equal.
You don't know what equality means in the context of saying men and women are equal. Holy shit. What do you think? Are they really stupid?
Because you're looking at it like men and women are equal. I'm not saying that one person is better than the other, okay? I'm just saying that we're different. I'm just saying we're very different. We're better at different things. It just so happens the things that build the world, men are better at. What? I mean, that's a fact.
The chair you're sitting in, the table
95.
What? Wait. Buddy, what builds a society is partially, at least, childbirth. You can't do that without a female. So how is it men are better at doing what the things necessary to build a society? First of all, if you're going to appeal to history, women were put in a place where they didn't even have a fucking choice to try and contribute to the building of society. Second of all, males have testosterone, so yes, on average, they are going to be physically stronger, but physical strength does not always translate to you're off building skyscrapers in your city. I don't even know what he's talking about right now. Men are better at doing stuff that builds societies? Okay? You can't build a society without people, and you can't make people without a male and a female. So what are you gonna do now, pal?
5% of inventions were made by men. Women don't build society, men do.
Oh my god, he's unironically appealing to this. You realize, dude, for the last like hundreds of years, women would have to put male names on their publications in order to even be recognized. If a woman invented something, she had virtually no outlet to even get that invention known or out. Because women were seen as second-class citizens. Women were not taken seriously. It was, oh, a woman has this idea. Yeah, whatever the fuck you're talking about. Okay, go make some mashed potatoes, bitch. Like, that was the norm back then. You cannot appeal to history to say that men are better because men made more inventions when men were in a privileged position where they had the ability to not only make inventions, but also get their inventions out and known while women were not. Perfect logic right here, guys. This is like saying, men are better swimmers. Did you look back in the 1950s? A man swam across the entire pool while the girl nearly drowned. But you leave out the fact that the girl was like handcuffed with her hands behind her back and had her legs tied up and had like a gag in her mouth. And then you just point out the fact that the man was able to swim across the pool, but the woman wasn't. You're like, yeah, men, they're just the best swimmers, bro. Just leave out any of the context. Okay.
The chair, the table,
women
the light
weren't
power.
even allowed
Women what?
to build anything.
Okay, women are allowed now. Why are they still not involved in engineering,
Building.
math,
Build right
technology,
now.
etc.?
I'm not
There's
gonna
more
lie.
educated women now than ever before. Why are women
I'm not
still
gonna
not?
lie, that's why I majored in computer science, because I feel like, first of
Merch.
all, that's like the biggest demand.
First of all, why are women not involved in these things? You realize that years and years, decades, centuries of oppression where women were not taken seriously and seen as lesser than still has an accumulated effect nowadays. It's not just like, oh, well, now women are equal and suddenly a million new inventions are going to pop out. That's not how this works, dude. Women are not pursuing scientific fields because those fields are still perceived as being much more male and masculine. Women, more often than not, when they're growing up, aren't encouraged to pursue those fields. It's not as black and white as the dad saying, you're a girl, so science isn't for you, dummy. But it's more like they just might not mention it to the girl. But maybe the brother is told all the time, like, do you want to be a scientist? They've done experiments with this where they ask, I think it was middle schoolers, draw a picture of a scientist. And virtually everybody that was told to do that drew a picture of a man. Because that's what the perception of those fields is. And those perceptions influence the decisions you're going to make later on down the line. This is unironically the worst argument I have heard. People told me to look this channel up. Apparently they were supposed to be like really big brain. This is fucking small brain shit. This is pea brain.
Out there is
Please
women
change
in
the world.
technology.
Okay, do you want to get into mines? Do you want to go pick up trash? Do you want to go fix things?
No,
do you
I
want
want to do programming. And
Do men want to go down in the mines and pick up trash? Is that like the man thing? Hey, I have a penis. That means I have the trash gene. I smell trash and I gotta fucking pick it up, okay? Oscar the Grouch, that's me. Because I got a dick. Wow, fresh and fit. Big brain over here.
right, so you want to pick and choose what you do, but male jobs that men have to risk their lives for, you don't want to take them.
I never agreed with the fact that men and women are equal, only in a biological standpoint, because I feel like men's bodies are made to do different things than women. That's why I feel like
Merch.
Made to do different things? Okay. I guess did Big Daddy God do it that way? I don't even...
at the end of the day, we do have different duties. Don't be laughing at me.
No, we do have.
We have different duties, like not in a
I mean, let's not deviate from the argument. The argument was simply that men create society, women do not. That's a fact.
Well, yeah, at this point, shit. What else
I
is there to
mean,
do?
and here's the other thing too. You got to remember, there's more women in college than ever before. Women are getting degrees at a higher rate than men than ever before. Yet they still are underrepresented in science, technology, engineering, and math. So what does that tell you? It tells
Because
you
what are they getting those degrees in? It's not like a bunch of women just have engineering degrees and are just not represented in the field. They're not getting a degree in those fields to begin with because of the social conditioning. It's really not that hard to understand. I swear to God, it's not that hard to understand, okay? If you have like more than 3 brain cells rattling around your hollow skull, then you can understand my argument. But these guys either don't have that or they're being intentionally obtuse.
That women don't want to do jobs that create infrastructure. Women are more interested in people, men are more interested in things. So even though women overwhelmingly dominate college, they still don't create society.
That's what I was saying earlier about
You realize that women being more inclined to care about people also motivates certain career choices? Why do you think women are overrepresented in nursing careers? Because women care about people. You can care about people and still contribute to society. Like I said, society needs people, and well, you can't really have a society if everybody's dead. So thank you, nurses. You're helping. Women can care about people and also use that care for others to motivate career choices that still contribute to building society.
Everything that men were doing.
You do realize that women didn't want to vote before, though, right?
Didn't want to.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, y'all didn't know that,
I didn't know that, but I know the women now. We on that.
Wait, is that true? All women wanted the right to vote. The reality, some women opposed the 19th Amendment. Okay, let's see. Just as women today don't represent a single united voting bloc, some women in the late 1800s and early 1900s opposed extending suffrage. Some believe voting would distract women from their far more important roles as mothers and wives and ruin happiness in the home. Wow, it sounds exactly like the arguments nowadays. Okay. How many women were in favor as opposed to against? How many women wanted and didn't want to? Because you're always going to find some people who are still like I said, I point out that there were Jewish Nazis, for example. You wouldn't say that like, well, you know, Jews weren't actually even opposed to the Holocaust because there were Jewish Nazis. Just if there's a minority or a vocal minority of women that were opposed to women's right to vote, doesn't mean that women in general actually didn't want to vote. This is like basic reasoning that these people lack.
For a big part, for a large portion of history, women actually did not want to vote. You want to know why? Because voting came with responsibility. They had to volunteer to be involved in.
This is a lie. We literally just scrolled through that fucking article for 5 goddamn seconds and learned that actually a lot of women didn't want the right to vote because they thought it would take away from their already set responsibilities. Women were not afraid of responsibility. They had a responsibility already, which was set up as you are the caretaker, you need to be the wife, you need to be taking care of the kids. They recognized that responsibility. So no, this idea that women didn't want to do it cause responsibility is just bullshit.
Firefighting, military, etc. So a lot of women didn't want to vote because they didn't want to have responsibility.
You think it's stupid now because feminism
looking at it from
brainwashed
this
you.
standpoint, I feel like
You think it's stupid because feminism brainwashed you. I like how Sneeko's there and just like hasn't said a word the entire time and then decides to chime in at the very end and say the most mind-melting, stupid thing imaginable. Next one, how the system is rigged to ruin men in the West. Give it to me fresh and fit.
It's the court.
Yeah.
It's all a system. Because then you have the divorced parents, and you have the divorce court, then you have, you know,
it's money. It's
paternity
money.
court.
It's money, bro.
It's money. Anything you could think of that's fucked up. Like the reason why they still fucked up and they haven't fixed it is because there's a big source of money coming from it.
Yeah, they're incentivized. This is what the divorce system and child support, all that does. It's designed to have the state extract resources from the man and give it to the woman. And
this is a lie. Usually, so first and foremost, when it comes to child support, the only thing the state is interested in there is the well-being of the child. That's it. They don't care if it fucks over the guy or the woman. They don't care. Now, what they do is the person that needs to pay child support, if I'm not mistaken, is the one who is earning the most money, who is the breadwinner in the relationship. So if you had the wife who was out working hard, making all the money, she was the breadwinner, and then there was a divorce, it would be her paying child support. The father was to be given custody of the child. But again, you fail to realize how you people reinforce these stereotypes that affect men negatively. First and foremost, why are men oftentimes expected to pay the child support? Well, you say that you're not a fucking alpha male unless you're the breadwinner as the man. So you're already setting yourself up as you're the guy that makes the money. So obviously you're going to be the one who has the financial responsibility to pay child support. Second of all, you talk about how women are just naturally better caretakers because they're all soft and flowery. Okay, so then based on that stereotype, women are given custody way more than men. Congratulations! You say all day that women are just natural caretakers and their evolutionary necessity is for them to care for the little babies. Okay? Cool. They get custody of the kids. Stop bitching about it when you're the one reinforcing those stereotypes. Finally, last but not least, child support goes to whichever parent gets custody of the child. Generally speaking, yes, the man is not going to have nearly as high a likelihood of obtaining custody. So he's more likely to be the one paying child support. But all of this is because of wrong beliefs that women are just naturally better caretakers, which is not necessarily true. And this dumb fuck idea that you people reiterate that to be a real alpha man, then you must be the breadwinner. They haven't even touched on alimony yet, but alimony is support for the partner regardless of whether they are a man or a woman. You know that there are situations where the woman is the breadwinner and she needs to pay her ex-husband alimony. This isn't just how can we fuck over men. A lot of the times this is trying to prioritize the child, and sometimes men do get fucked up in that situation, but it's largely because of the stereotypes that you dipshits reinforce constantly.
Put it in a situation where it incentivizes the women to break up with the guy and take his money. So it's like, it's a W for the state, it's a W for the woman, it's an L for the dude, which is why we tell y'all
They don't even realize how this works either. You know that if you get married for like 3 days and then you divorce the husband, you're not going to just like take half his money, right? You know that, right, Fresh and Fit? You realize the only thing that's divided amongst the couple is assets made while you were in the relationship? It's not like a woman can get married to you and then 4 days later divorce you and take half your shit and get your house. If you got married and you had a joint account and then you bought a house together, then those assets would have to be divided amongst you both. But it's just incredible how dumb they are.
like, yo, get paternity tests, do a prenatal test, don't get fucking married. You got to put yourself in a position where they're not going to go ahead and take all your resources, bro, because they're looking at you as like a prime target to destroy you financially.
You're saying, oh, you're not wise.
Women are all just vindictive bitches trying to destroy you financially. That's a great attitude to have about women, by the way. Totally not bullshit. You know, totally not the kind of attitude that is actually more likely to encourage and endorse the abuse of women.
It's about what your choice is cool. We'll be wise for you. Put a burden on you. Now you got to pay. It's crazy, bro.
Don't they have it to where, like, even if you don't marry your girl and you're like with her for like 10 years?
Some states have that common law.
Yeah, that common law. Yeah.
Yeah. If you live with her, shit like that, like, yeah, man, every state is different, but it's like we tell guys all the time just to be safe. Don't get married. Don't cohabitate. You know, if you
wait, what does that mean?
Oh, don't live in the same location.
It's funny because we just looked through the statistics that showed how married couples do far better than single people, and they even do better than couples who are cohabitating, who are living together. Marriage actually benefits the man and the woman, and they're encouraging men not to do that because they have some perverted idea that women are all these vindictive, evil psychos trying to just screw over the poor man. It
depends on where you are, but like some states will look at that as a common law marriage if y'all start to live together, and then she starts to accrue portions of, you know, whatever you may earn or whatever. It depends where you are.
But you get mailed, she gets mailed to your spot.
Oof. Then you can't get her out.
Yeah.
And then on like, let's say, and then there's some states that have mandatory arrest laws. So like, let's say, you know, y'all get into an argument, someone calls the police. When the police show up, someone's got to get arrested. 9 out of 10 times the dude's going to get arrested.
Yeah.
You got to be really fucked up as a.
I wonder, why would it just be the natural instinct of the police to just arrest the guy? Surely this has nothing to do with this idea that because you're a man, you must therefore be stronger and more aggressive. It must just be that everybody is biased against men. That's a better explanation. It's certainly not partially because of the dipshit ideas that you people consistently spread, that in order to be a high-value man, you got to be tough, strong, stoic, and aggressive. You got to do what you got to do to get what you want. And women are just the nice, soft little rainbows. You must be polite to them. They will smell like flowers. You can't complain about the problems that you people contribute to. I'm sorry, but if we got rid of these ridiculously rigid gendered expectations that we place on people, that you're a man, you must be stronger, you must be aggressive, how dare you, you can't get beat up by a girl, what are you, a fucking wimp? Get rid of that, and slowly but surely you will see a reduction in this notion that if somebody calls and reports abuse, that they just kind of assume it was the guy.
And that have been in situations like that, like, you know, got their shit, got sent to jail, got a domestic violence charge on them, whatever it may be. And they plead out just because they can't afford to fight it. And guess what happens? You can't carry a gun anymore. You can't get certain jobs, even though it's a misdemeanor, but it's considered a misdemeanor thanks to the Law and Break Act. So, yo, it'd be ruining people's lives, or they get a restraining order on them or whatever it may be. So it's like, guys really got to be careful and like make sure that they don't commit to like crazy ass chicks and cohabitate or get married or whatever.
Yeah.
But dudes don't know this shit a lot of times until it's too late, or they lose their kids.
I know they're changing the definition of what SA really is. It could be, for example, you
anything
lying to her or saying, oh, you're not a lawyer? Oh, he grades me.
Yeah.
Yo, so imagine, right, you're spitting game. You might want to, embellish a little bit. So you know what? I work at a law firm as a janitor, but I'm a lawyer today. Tell her you're a lawyer. She's like, wait, you're not a lawyer? He grades me. Go to the court system. You're screwed.
Yeah, after y'all smash.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Yep, that's exactly how it is. So accurate. Incredible. Yep, that's all it takes nowadays, It doesn't even have to be like the woman you live with. It could literally just be like a random fucking recording. Just plopped in like, he raped me with like an AI thing, And then all of a sudden the police show up, they kick you in the nuts, drag you off to prison, and you get sentenced to life in jail and or the electric chair.
They're trying to put that shit into the works, I think, in New York.
And also, now they're adding emotional, I guess, pressure.
Nigga, I want to be able to say that shit to hey, you don't look like your pictures on Instagram. This is bullshit. Catfish. Yo, I got catfish. You know what, man? I'm filing a sexual assault claim on her, bro. This is bullshit, man.
But you know another thing?
Yeah.
To like,
you realize that false sexual assault allegations are incredibly rare, and even real sexual assaults are the number one least reported crime, at least in America. Like this idea that women are all just these conniving, evil psychos that are trying to screw over the men by accusing them of rape is just bullshit. These people are so spite-driven. They genuinely hate women. And again, they take their problems out on women. You notice how, what I said at the beginning, they'll talk about real issues that affect men, how men can sometimes get screwed over by the court system or some of these mandatory arrest laws perhaps, but then they figure out a way to just blame women. It's transparent. It's for bitter incels to watch so that they can feel better about hating women, simply because they themselves are resentful, bitter, and jaded. And rather than looking inward, it's a lot easier to just blame women. It's the coward's way out. Because rather than taking accountability for your own behavior and your own actions, and perhaps the type of stereotypes about men that you dipshits reiterate, it is far easier and lazier to just point the finger at somebody else. It's the opposite of what an alpha male should look like, in all seriousness. The Sigma Alpha bro is the man that takes fucking responsibility and is able to look inward and have a little bit of introspection.
Men to get that problem too. It's just don't fuck around with a bunch of girls. You know what I mean? I know that's like the controversial thing to say and stuff like that, but if you keep, you know what I mean? I know that's like the thing to like men to get that problem too. It's just don't fuck around with a bunch of girls. You know what I mean? I know that's like the controversial thing to say and stuff like that, but if you keep it.
So controversial, man. Hey guys, maybe you shouldn't be sleeping around a bunch if you think women are all these evil, conniving psychos. What a hot take. Holy shit. You think that if you so much as tell a woman that you're 5'9" when you're actually 5'8.5", and she finds out that you lied after sex, she's gonna accuse you of rape? Maybe you shouldn't be sleeping around. And they're just like, what? Holy shit. Bruh, don't even dare think of that. How does a thought like that even cross your fucking brain? Get out of the matrix, dude. Hits bong.
But it's like the more you do it, the more girls you fuck around with isn't likelihood.
The chances go up.
So it's like, why would you put yourself in that situation?
What you're saying?
But I'm just asking.
But the problem is, let's say we did that, right? What if that girl is the one girl that does that type of stuff? So in order to get an understanding of the whole landscape, I want to see all the crops so I can judge the crops accordingly.
It's a catch-22. I see where he's coming from. He's saying, well, if you deal with less girls, the chances of that happening decrease. However, but if you don't deal with more women, you're not going to get the prerequisite experience to identify girls that are like that are praying mantises. So my thing is, I tell guys, right? I tell them before you even think about getting into a serious relationship or getting married, you need to have sex with 50 girls, make $100,000 a year, have 6 months to 1 year of savings in the bank, be in shape, and I can't remember the last one.
Did he just say sleep with 50 girls? Sigma men, okay? They have herpes. Sigma males are walking around with the biggest, disgusting, pussy welts all over their ball sack. That's how you know they're a Sigma male. Sleeping around with 50 girls? I like how for the red pill stuff, it's like, oh, a girl's been with 3 guys. What a slut. And then it's like, how do you be a baller as a man? 50 girls, give or take. You can always pay for some prostitutes if you want. Shut the fuck up, you fucking creep.
Be 35 years old.
Yeah.
Be 35 years old.
50 bodies is crazy.
You think that's a lot?
That's nasty,
bro.
Well,
bro, I guarantee you, girls.
No, I'm actually not even trolling. I'm don't get me wrong. You can do whatever you want, but
bro,
because spirits, bro.
Nigga, the average girl your age, bro, has 30 to 50 easy.
And that's so nasty as fuck.
Nigga, average girl. He actually thinks the average woman, this guy's age. How old do you think this guy is? In his mid or early 30s, maybe? You think that the average 30-year-old woman has slept with 50 men? Are you just out of your mind? According to the CDC, women between ages 25 and 44 had a median of 4 sexual partners. It's in general anywhere between 4 and 8. They're just pretending. Okay. You know the average woman? She has literally slept with 75 men and also has fucked at least 2 horses. Did you know that? Okay, that's the average woman for you, okay? Bro, homeboy. Hits bong again. Did you know the average woman slept with like 80 guys and like 3 horses? Minimum?
Just because it's a dude. I'm not saying because it's a dude. I'm saying in general.
Your classmates, I don't know them personally. I'm just saying. Some of them.
You went to Bama. No, definitely.
May have had.
There was a girl in my senior year in high school that had 60 in her senior year.
Yeah. Easily. So like, access is there, bro.
Girls nowadays have more bodies than ever before. Like if you take an average 21-year-old girl, average 21-year-old dude, the average 21-year-old girl is running laps on most dudes sexually. Like
that is bullshit. We just read about it and no, that's wrong. You're just making things up again.
There, you know, with Instagram, dating apps, whatever it may be. So like my thing is I tell guys, yo, so that you don't get finessed, you don't get the wool over your eyes, you need to get out there and date girls and be able to like decipher which type of chick this girl is, etc. So you don't get finessed.
Yeah.
So sleep around. Wait, hold on. Let me get this straight. So women are conniving and you want to look out for the evil conniving women who are going to accuse you of rape because you, I don't know, farted during sex. And yet simultaneously you should be sleeping with a minimum of 50 women? Women are these evil, conniving people just waiting to send you to prison on a false allegation, and you should sleep with 50 of those people. Take that risk 50 times. It's like even their own fucking bullshit is just incoherent. It's nonsense.
A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from others. Like, why can't we just? I'm just like, I'm being double.
Well, that's why they watch Fresh and Fit.
There you go. I feel that. Because a lot of I don't be watching like that. But what I had noticed is like you guys get a lot of like-minded people. So when you have like-minded people, kind of like the ideas are all the same and it's in the same ballpark.
Yeah, you might be able to learn from our experiences, but what I've noticed with most men, no offense, is most guys are fucking hard-headed. They got to take the L themselves for them to really learn and internalize the shit. Like, okay, I probably shouldn't wife up a chick that, you know, has 300 bodies and works at a strip club and does OnlyFans for money.
4 kids.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And 7 kids.
That's me. Like, I need to burn my hand. I'm that type of dude.
And there's a lot of guys like that like, no, well, I'm the exception. I can make this work. And it's like, no, nigga, you're not that special. You're going to take an L just like the rest of us. But a lot of guys got to get burned sometimes.
Tom Brady can't.
At least they admit that they've taken numerous L's. It's obvious. The only difference is that real Sigma men can make a mistake, learn from it, and then move on. Beta bitches sit around all day in a podcast whining about how bad women are because they took an L like 2 years ago. If I was like a lonely man who didn't know any better and really wanted a partner, and then I watched this clip, I'd be like, holy shit, I need to literally stay in my house. I will never allow anybody who even looks feminine, okay? No femboys even allowed in my fucking house because God knows how soon I'll be falsely accused of rape. It's unironically just them making incels. It's like the recipe. Is that the recipe for inceldom? Just bitterness, sexism, and fresh and fit. Stir it all together with your little mixer and kablam. You have a fucking ugly ass incel. This video is called They Want to Shame Traditional Women by Saying This. So first question I'm going to ask, of course, is who's they?
Because I get what you're saying. You're saying, because you're just making a bunch of mental gymnastics for like why being a pick-me is bad. But the reality is like pick-me is a shaming term that women use on women that are able to attract and retain a man long-term because they do what that man wants. That is how you keep a man.
If I was a high value man, no, be honest. If I had 6 million subscribers, 2 million on IG with a check mark, be honest, you'll be on my dick. Would you not? But since I have 30K in the bank right now, that I've been saving up for the last 15 years, since I only have 1,000 on IG, y'all not fucking with me. So you know what? I'm gonna get in my bag.
I like how every video clip we've seen, they just can't help themselves but expose their despicably low and shallow opinion they have of women. I really like that, actually. They can't even do a single little clip without telling on themselves. Yeah, every woman would be fucking me if I had a blue check mark. Yeah, dude, that's totally how it works, you know? Woman's not that into you. And then one day you're like, hey, bitch, I have a blue check mark. That's right. Blue, and it's a check. So maybe you should start checking me out. Next thing you know, she's all over you. Making out.
Listen, I'm really on. The majority of the time I'm on y'all side because it's true. I know how women act. All right, let's go. We ain't gonna act. I know how women act. I know how women when we go out and what we do, man. Yes, because then you're gonna talk to your friends, you're gonna talk to your girls and be like, girl, he ain't got. You You know what I'm saying? Or Instagram. If you don't give number, you give Instagram. You go straight to his Instagram and you see what he got. You see how many followers he got. You see what he got going on. If he ain't got much going on, it's a no. Y'all know that.
Oh, perfect. That's even better. So now not only do we have a bunch of dipshits reinforcing shallow views of women, now we have women reinforcing shallow views of women. That's great. How many women are like, listen, you're a really nice guy. You make a lot of money. You're pretty much everything I've ever looked for in a partner. You're like my ideal man. But then I saw that you only have 2,000 followers on Instagram. Maybe get that number up to like 3,000 or 4,000 and call me. Does she actually think that's how it works? Listen, bitch, just if you're a fucking shallow loser doesn't mean that all women are. And it's really unfortunate that you're reinforcing this, honestly, just disgusting view of women to a bunch of incels. Like, don't worry, honey. The viewers already hate women. You don't need to contribute any more to it.
That's what he's saying.
Women handicap themselves. I don't know why they do this. Like, yo, what do you ladies not understand that you guys are replaceable? There's a new girl turning 18 every day. Men are attracted to youth, beauty, fertility.
Can we get Chris Hansen up here? There's a new girl turning 18 every day. Aren't you like in your 30s? Okay, yeah, just hanging outside the fucking high school. Hey, honey, are you 18 yet? No? Oh, no, okay, never mind. Hey, babe, you 18 yet? I will be tomorrow. All right, hit me up then. Really? You're such a goddamn creep. Holy shit. Ugh, that's just nasty. I'm sorry. Ugh.
Every day. Men are attracted to youth, beauty, fertility, and chastity. As you get older, you lose value. Free to sit there and say, oh, you're just...
Men are attracted to youth and fertility? Why? Ugh. I don't even know what to say to this. It's just gross.
The man chooses the woman.
No one gives a fuck about independent women. Boss bitches don't get wifed up like that. Men that are bosses want a woman that's submissive and gonna follow their program. There can't be two bosses.
Again, I like how their whole thing is like, become a high value man. I don't know if I can stress this enough, but if you, in order to feel like a high value man, desire a woman who is just submissive and gonna go along with you, then you are not a high value man. Then you are not, even by your own standards, an alpha male. Because your self-esteem and your ego are so fucking fragile that the minute your whammon disagrees with you, you just melt down. You just lose it. You just start screeching and fall into a diabetic coma. You think that's what alpha looks like? You need your partner to be all submissive to you? That's not what an alpha male looks like, okay? That's not what a high-value man looks like. A high-value man knows how to listen to his partner and become a better person because of it. It doesn't mean you just agree with them blindly. You don't need to submit to your partner. Your partner doesn't need to submit to you. That's why it's a partnership. You are a team. You work together as a unit. That is the best type of relationship that you can aim for. And again, if you as a man need a woman as your partner who is submissive and just goes along with whatever you say, you're not an alpha. You're not a high-value man. You're an insecure little fucking bitch who has convinced himself that you're an alpha male. You're a beta's view of an alpha male. Okay, we have one more clip, guys. You ready? Ladies didn't know what to say after Sneeko debunked this.
Every single chance.
This question is actually why I got banned on YouTube. It was why I got my second strike, was showing that every time you ask a woman this question, what do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? They all think 10. And even when somebody else said 8, someone else is like, no, you're a 10. So you really don't know how to be critical of yourself. And we also established that what you put forward when it comes to talking to other people, being attractive, or even women put their looks forward.
Okay, first of all, maybe for some women, but again, this doesn't speak for all women. And it's almost a vicious cycle because it's like you have a really shallow view of women. And so the type of women you attract are shallow women. And then those shallow women further your view that women are shallow. And it's a vicious cycle. You're a shallow piece of shit, so you attract other shallow pieces of shit. This isn't speaking for all women. The fact that these are the only types of women you've engaged with is arguably a fat L for you.
Become attracted. We don't really, honestly, like, men don't really care about your spiritual journey. Like, no one cares. So it's also hypocritical that every time you ask this question, women always think that women are better at self-improving for a couple of reasons. One, they don't really understand the male journey. They don't understand what we have to go through. And a lot of what you think self-improving is just stuff you make up in your head. Growing, your spiritual thing, meditate, crystals. It's not a whole lot of actual things based in reality. And I understand the flaw in this question because the hypocrisy is like all girls will say I'm a 10, I'm 100, I'm perfect, I'm beyond perfect. 1 through 10, 20, 100, a million.
Isn't it like a statistical fact that women have lower self-esteem on average? But men generally have higher levels of self-esteem than women. But this self-esteem gender gap is more pronounced in Western industrialized countries, according to research published by the American Psychological Association. Survey data from over 985,000 men and women ages 16 to 45 from 48 different countries. The data were collected from July 1999 to December 2009. Okay, the researchers compared self-reported self-esteem, gender, and age across the 48 nations. In general, the researchers found that self-esteem tended to increase with age from adolescence to adulthood, and that men at every age tended to have higher levels of self-esteem than women worldwide. So, on average, at least in America, and across these 48 other countries, men had higher rates of self-esteem. The data is too old to be useful? Do you think that, like, women have radically changed since 2009? Are you kidding right now? That's what people say when they're coping, that the stats disprove their bullshit ideas. So this is the first of its kind analysis of self-esteem of almost 1 million men and women from 48 countries. Has confirmed that internationally men feel higher self-worth than women. American Psychological Association has now demonstrated that men on average tend to have higher self-esteem. So this idea that Sneako's positing right now, that women just always think they're the best and they can do no wrong, is bullshit. On a broad statistical level, this does not hold up.
I think we mature faster than men, though. It's like,
what about self-improving though? Because now you're 30-something, you know?
Yeah, that's
maturing
what
is like puberty. But like at our age now, 20s and 30s, how are you self-improving more than me?
I guess living life.
Okay, living life.
That's a bad answer.
Self-improvement.
Real quick, I just gotta ask her, how do women mature faster? Just real quick. And then how so?
I thought that was a fact.
Oh,
It
no.
is. Oh,
It's-
like real fact.
Women do tend to mature faster, right? Women, as puberty starts, female brains jump to at least 2 years older than their physical age. Males, however, usually take until their late teen years or even early 20s to match their female peers' mental age. So the reason that women tend to mature faster than men, according to Newcastle University scientists, they discovered that as the brain reorganizes connections throughout our life, the processes begin earlier in girls, which may explain why they mature faster during the teenage years. As we grow older, our brains undergo a major reorganization, reducing the connections in the brain. Okay, cool. So yes, men or women on average mature faster than men. Cool.
Well,
Like I think it is a fact. I think we do because we want relationship, we want to get married, we want all the good stuff, while men don't.
Would it be fair to say that it's not necessarily that women mature faster, so that you guys have
I also really despise the fact that they have women on the show who are like the most stupid fucking people I've ever listened to. It's like first we have to hear Fresh and Fit ramble off a bunch of nonsense, and then we have to hear some loser girl chime in and be like, well, I like go to the club all the time, so I know that I'm really good. Like, okay, Brittany, we get it. You're white. Can you actually like make a point?
I'm trying to figure out why all of you think that women are better at self-improving than men.
I think we do.
Go ahead, you had something?
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
I just feel like
Merch.
women can look back and maybe admit that they were wrong, at least to themselves, maybe not to like other people, but look back and be like, that was flawed, or like I fucked up, and then go forward and change that, where it's harder maybe for men to like come to terms with the fact that they were
I would
wrong.
argue it's the complete opposite. I would argue women rarely take accountability for their poor decisions.
Well, that
This is just a now they're just talking about general human behavior and trying to make it attributable to one sex. You know what? It's really the females who can never admit they're wrong. No, actually, it's the males who can never admit they're wrong. No, it's the female. No, it's the male. Okay, you know that for human beings in general, you know the whole we're not the same, but we're still equal. Okay, so listen up. You know, for generally speaking, for human beings, it's incredibly hard to admit that you're wrong. Fighting about who has a harder time admitting they're wrong, this isn't a gendered issue necessarily. This is just desperate at this point, just like average human behavior. What's next? Girls use the bathroom more. No, boys use the bathroom more. It's like maybe it's just a human thing and it's not important like who is exactly doing this more or less.
that might just be the woman that
And society reinforces that, is my argument.
Actually, it's funny because we saw that right here in the questions. The only woman who took accountability for her past, her body count, and for what happened in college was you. And then you also think that men are better at self-improving than women. You said that you failed college because you were crying.
I read an article one time and it said women are spaghetti
and men are waffles. So basically, like, women have a tendency to be like, okay, so this happened, so after that this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and that's why we're here. Men, for the most part, they compartmentalize and they stick it like this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened.
She's somewhat correct here, because it is true that women on average have been shown to be better at multitasking. They're also better at reading human emotion and even possibly making a decision from there, whereas men are more sort of logic, what's the solution, the analytical side of things. Now, of course, this doesn't speak for every woman or every man. I mean, I'm not very good when it comes to like analytical stuff, and my wife, as far as like math goes, is incredible at that kind of shit. At least we have somebody here that's like saying something. It's like, okay, at least she's trying.
Sir,
none of you said your body count. If you're able to look at your past and be honest about it, why were you all saying BBLs and I don't say?
Maybe they didn't bring up their body count because they don't view that as being a mistake. As soon as you realize that there's no long-term physical effects of a woman having sex, then it kind of becomes meaningless. At that point, it's like, again, you're insecure. You're the opposite of a Sigma male. And you feel compromised or a little bit insecure over the fact that your partner has previously been with other guys. What's wrong? Are you worried that they had a bigger dick than you? Are you worried that they made more money than you? That doesn't sound very fucking alpha, Sigma, you know? Sneeko and the Fresh and Fit type, these red pill losers, they always sort of push forward and posit this idea of like, high value man, be an alpha male. But yet, the type of things they complain about are rooted in the complete opposite of what they would consider a high value alpha male. They are insecure about having a partner who's had multiple different sexual partners throughout her life. That makes them insecure. And they have deluded themselves into believing that, well, we're actually high value alpha males, you know? We're really high value, dude. That's why it really scares me that my wife isn't a virgin. Like, you are being an insecure beta. It's just really funny that they are rooting their perception of what it means to even be an alpha male in insecurity. There you guys have it. That is Fresh and Fit for you. I really wanted to believe that I was in for a stronger argument. But you know what? It was nice to talk about red pill stuff. And, we didn't talk about religion or really not even anything super political. So next time when I talk about nothing but religion and everything super political, you can't come out of me. Checkmate.